Hey everybody, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. We kind of have a special edition here. We're hanging out in Detroit with my friend Terry Johnson from Firearms Legal Protection, and we just kind of had a few moments. And I said, man, we were talking about this OC spray case.
Yes.
So today on John's Briefs, I want to talk to Terry about the legalities of using OC spray and particularly about coverage in an OC spray use of force. Today's video is brought to us by Firearms Legal Protection. Firearms Legal Protection is a legal defense program for lawful gun owners with a 24/7 emergency hotline and plans designed specifically for self-defenders. They are offering a discount on their plan to Ask fans, so hit the link in the description for that. So Terry, you said you guys recently had an OC spray case with Firearms Legal Protection.
Yes, we did, down in Florida, without going into the details, because we don't do that. We did have a member that actually used an OC spray to protect himself.
Okay.
And the good thing about this was he actually had the opportunity to use lethal force in the form of a firearm. But he chose to use an OC spray. And yes, that's something that Firearms Legal Protection will cover you. Any legal weapon that you use to protect yourself or others, we're going to cover you for that.
Awesome. So in the video that we're going to link in the description, right, this guy road rages and he gets all kinds of mad, gets out of his car, and the guy, the defender, pops out of his car, hoses him with the hot sauce, and then dude walks off because, you know, OC spray sucks.
It does.
But now, of course, we talk all the time about the difference between legal and moral, right?
Yes.
And legal, moral, and wise. Those are
Correct.
all different things. But talk to me a little bit about the legal use of OC spray, because if I can use a firearm, then legally I can use OC spray no problem, right?
In theory, yes, but let's think about it. You know, as we all know, a firearm is a tool of last resort.
Right.
You want to take out any other things you can use. You know, for example, if I want to put a hole in my wall, you know, I can use a small nail, I can use a hammer. If I really, really wanted a big hole, you know, I could get a wrecking ball to go through it, right? I don't need a wrecking ball if, in fact, I can just use a nail to put something through a wall.
Right.
So, again, we want to use a firearm as a tool of last resort. Right. But if you have to use a firearm, does that mean I could have used OC spray? Again, you got to be careful there because, again, there's a different standard, a different level that you have to go up to justify using lethal force
right.
as opposed to what we'll call reasonable force, reasonable physical force, I'll even call it in this case, to defend yourself or to defend others.
Well, and in most states that don't have a particular chemical agent, do I understand it correctly that OC spray use is seen as ordinary physical force, not lethal force?
Correct. Now, again, just so everybody's on the same page here, if you get in a situation where, you know, you have to use OC spray and the person has asthma or something that could cause them not only, you know, to really shut down, but could cause them to die, you could be prosecuted for that as well. Again, depending upon what they do.
So, you know, the interesting bit is from a tactical perspective, oleoresin capsicum is actually a bronchodilator. So somebody's got asthma, that actually opens their airways up.
Ah, interesting.
It doesn't shut their airways down. It actually opens it up from a physiological perspective. So when you say, well, if they had asthma or something, it actually helps their asthma. Now, what it does cause is panic attacks, though, because it hurts.
Correct.
So somebody has a panic attack, does something crazy, maybe there's some repercussions there.
And see, that's something new that I learned there because, again, you know, much like a firearm, if you use OC spray, know what you're using.
Right.
Understand what it's about. You know, I mean, you guys have a great sponsor in Palm, okay? Fabulous product. And again, know what's in it. Know what's going on.
Mean stuff. Don't play with it. Don't mess around. So in my understanding, Terry, I want to make sure that I get this right, that to use OC spray, like the guy did in the video that we're talking about, you know, this guy's walking up, so he's an imminent physical threat. I don't see a gun in his hand. I don't see anything like that. But if he's an imminent physical threat, then my understanding is then I am legally justified if I use OC spray because I go, hey, I don't want to get in a physical fight with this guy. And the OC spray can keep this guy from wanting to fight me. And so that's a reasonable justification. I don't have to have justification for lethal force in order to use OC spray.
That is correct. Because again, here's the thing. You take the person as you find them. Now, someone's coming at me. Again, and I know you're going to have somebody comment on this, I promise. And I'm talking to that one individual who's going to say, well, they might, do this. They're bigger than me. What if they're 6'5" and I'm 5'8" or something like that?
Right.
Again, it's a big difference between imminent fear of death or great bodily harm versus, just a butt kicking. Okay, sometimes you may have to take a butt kicking as opposed to trying to use lethal force.
I think that's a big deal, and of course disparity of force. And if you're a vulnerable person because maybe you've got pins in your neck, you just had a surgery or something, these facts always matter.
Everything matters because one thing you have to understand. One little fact can change, as we like to say as attorneys, a whole fact pattern,
Right.
Just like you said, if someone gets out and they've got asthma or, they're having a panic attack and then you hit them. Let's say you hit them with the OC spray after, they get out and all of a sudden they see you with this and now they start to panic. You've hit them with this, now what? I mean, there's never what we call a bright line in there, so you have to be careful. And again, when using an OC spray, the thing you really want to keep in mind is, much like lethal force, again, make sure you're justified in doing it. You're just not out spraying people, as you like to say, with the hot sauce.
Right.
Just to do it because it's not a firearm.
Well, and when we say bless the deserving with the hot sauce, right? So
yes.
If they don't deserve it, that's assault.
Absolutely.
If they don't, if somebody's just yipping at you or they're angry, you're having an argument, and you go, I'm just going to OC spray you and teach you a thing or two. Now I've committed assault. That's not cool.
And the interesting thing is, it's actually aggravated assault because, again, you're using a weapon. It may not be a firearm. Again, depends on the state and the jurisdiction that you're in. But you are using a weapon to put, that's really what it is. It's a weapon. It may not be a firearm.
Right. But in some states,
it could be a weapon.
So I want to make sure that, again, I can articulate, I have the reasonable, objective evidence that I saw. Okay, so the guy said to me, I'm going to kick your butt. Well, I believed him. I didn't want to do that, so I sprayed him with the OC spray. Well, now I can articulate a reasonable physical threat, and as long as he could and all those things. And then I can use my OC spray, and it's a good tool so that I don't have to go to the place where I end up using my firearm.
Exactly, and the other part of that is, and as you like to say on your channel, it's the moral thing to do as well. And again, it's not for us to teach morals. You've got your legal side, but someone's going to look at you and say, did this person not only deserve to get sprayed, but more importantly, did you use the least amount of force necessary to make that happen?
You guys know, I've talked about this on the channel. I carry an OC spray all the time for a reason. Used it 3 times successfully on dogs that came up, try to get after my dog or whatever. And an OC spray on a dog, very effective. And if I have to shoot a dog, well, I'm in a lot less trouble shooting a dog than if I shot a human, but I'm still going to spend the whole rest of my day talking to the local constabulary.
Yep, and then don't forget the other part of that. You're probably going to have an upset dog owner coming after you to sue you civilly.
And then, but if I OC spray, whether it's a human or a dog, I haven't injured anybody. It's going to wear off. We're going to be okay. At the end of things, we'll be fine.
Exactly, and that's what you want. At the end of the day, you want to be fine.
Yeah. So OC spray, I think it's a useful tool. You've heard me talk about it a bunch. Now you know the legal side. Terry, appreciate the knowledge.
John, thank you.